Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's time for another keyboard video. Again. It's been a couple weeks, but I gave you a break, so although you guys seem to be liking the keyboard videos, so if you do like them, let me know. If you don't, if you're not really a fan, let me know as well, because I feed off of your feedback, and that's not a fat joke. It's just those are words that happen to do with food, and it's hot in this room, and I'm sweating already. Been recording for 2 minutes. It's summer. Summer is upon us. I've got the fans off. I've got stuff going on with the setup. Maybe I'll do a video on that sometime soon. Anyway, let's get into the video. So I want to send a big shout out to the good folks at Hexgears for sending me the keyboard that we are talking about today for the review. That is the brand new Hexgears K520 mechanical keyboard. And boy, is this a keyboard to talk about. I have absolutely loved using this thing. I'm just going to give you a spoiler right now. I love this thing. So far, I've been using it on and off for like a couple of months. Sorry, Hexgears, took me a while to get this video done. I've been using a 60 to 65% keyboard since about probably November of last year. And before that, I was using 10 keyless keyboards. I had a Razer Black Widow Tournament Edition for a while. And then from there, I just decided to pick up a TechWare Phantom RGB keyboard. You find it on Amazon. It's a very popular budget RGB 10 keyless keyboard. And so going back to a 10 keyless keyboard was a bit of an adjustment, but it's still a nice small form factor, at least compared to a full-size keyboard. Inside the box, you're going to get, of course, the keyboard, as well as a plastic dust cover. You know, I always used to think that these were just sort of made for like the internal packaging to sort of just keep the keyboard protected while it's in the box. So I always would just throw them away, and then I found out that these are maybe not, I don't know if they're intended, but they are used very commonly as just a free dust cover for your keyboard so you don't get dust and dirt in it when you're not using it. So if you are the kind of person that's been throwing these away, stop. Now, right as soon as you pick this thing up out of the box, you are going to feel some heft, some weight to this thing. It is not a light 60% keyboard like I'm used to reviewing on this channel. There is a little bit of flex in the keyboard, but really not too much. It still feels very strong and sturdy and weighty. But despite the amount of flex, I didn't hear or experience any creaking in my use or testing. This thing has got some weight to it, and it feels like you could probably knock somebody out. I wouldn't recommend doing that because that is assault, but it is good to know that this thing is not going to move around on your desk, and it's sturdy, not going to break on you all quickly. Now, this is not an RGB keyboard, but it does have some nice bright white RGB LEDs. Bright RGB. It does have some bright white LEDs, which do have some preset animation effects that you can toggle between with the function key and the corresponding key on the keyboard. You've got the fade in and fade out, the wave, the ripple effect, the zigzag effect, or the thing that keyboards do where it lights up the key that you press, or you just press function and escape to go back to fully backlit white. That's what I do. And then function and the arrow keys will adjust the brightness and the speed of the animation if you have an animated effect on the keyboard lights. There is minimal branding with the nice Hexgear logo just above the arrow keys, and that's basically it. I was pretty excited when Hexgears reached out to me to test this thing out for review, and rightfully so, because Hexgears does have a pretty nice reputation selling keyboards, like high-end premium keyboards, on sites like Kono Store. Now, as I've mentioned, this is one of my favorite keyboards I have used since I started reviewing keyboards on this channel. And if you've ever seen my other keyboard reviews, you know that has to do with the switches and the keycaps. I'm a big boy. I'm a big fan of certain types of mechanical switches. I've sort of learned to be picky and have a preference when it comes to which ones I like and dislike, or prefer and disprefer. And especially the case with keycaps, sometimes I just want a nice thick chunky keycap that I can just put on a keyboard and enjoy the typing experience. It's all about a combination of the feel and the sound of the key switches and the keycaps clacking against the board inside the keyboard. It makes for a nice experience, and that's what a lot of mechanical keyboard enthusiasts look for, is how it's gonna feel and sound to type on. So what's so great about these switches? Well, this thing comes equipped with Kailh box switches. Now, I've never used Kailh switches before, let alone Kailh box switches, and I have heard good things about Kailh altogether, but the Kailh box reds on this thing are just fantastic. One of my favorite switches that I've used so far on this channel. And some of you guys probably know how I was blown away by the optical Gateron Reds on the GK61. As a lover of red switches, these switches on this thing do not disappoint. Now yes, mine does have Kailh box red switches, but there are also Kailh box brown, black, and white available for this same keyboard. And people, if you're into clicky switches, I have heard a lot of great things about the Kailh box whites. I have never used them myself, but if you are looking for a keyboard where you can experience Kailh box white switches, this might be one for you to check out. Now another great thing about this keyboard is it does have an IPX56 waterproof rating. I'm not sure how good that number is in the waterproof rating, world, but I'm told to say that. There you go. If you know what that means, there you go. Well, IPX56, right? That's cool. That's cool, man. Now, I do understand the concept of IPX ratings for waterproof stuff. I'm not stupid. I just don't know what the 56, where that scales on the scale. If you're new to the channel, these tech videos are usually from the perspective of somebody who's new and learning about a lot of these things. So if you're looking for a pro and you're getting frustrated, apologies. And you've already clicked off the video, haven't you? Please come back. Now the keycaps kind of throw me for a loop because they are ABS keycaps that just sort of come standard and stock with a lot of pre-built keyboards that you're going to buy out there. PBT is what a lot of people prefer as far as more of a premium material because it's not going to show a lot of shine from your finger oils, and also these are fairly thin keycaps. I prefer thicker keycaps because they just have more of a clackier, chunkier sound when you're typing, and yet this is one of my favorite sounding keyboards I've ever used. Just take a listen. Now, if that's how that sounds with the stock keycaps, I can only imagine how that is going to sound with some really nice, thicker PBT keycaps out there. I've got some other plans for the keycaps that I do have, which are coming up in a video that you'll see on this channel hopefully pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that. Now, I personally don't raise my keyboard. I believe that it's more comfortable and ergonomic to have it flat down, as flat as you can have it. But there are people out there who like to elevate their keyboard and hurt themselves. But that you can do that with this. You can. It's got two legs in the back. You can raise them up, and there you go. Rise up, gamers. Now, really, I don't have a lot to say about this keyboard, other than I love how it feels and sounds as fireworks. It's around the 4th of July in the ghetto, so you'll have to excuse the booming in the background. Take this opportunity for a water break while the dogs are losing their minds. Now, really, I don't have a lot to say about this keyboard. I really love the look of it. It's a very simple, straightforward 10 keyless mechanical keyboard that just so happens to have some of my favorite switches that I've ever used, and they're switches that a lot of people out there really do like. So again, straightforward keyboard, white LED lighting, awesome switches, keycaps that are kind of meh but sound really good on the keyboard itself. I mean, listen to that space bar though, that space bar. Let's listen to that space bar again. I love it. Now, as I probably have titled this video though, this could almost be my new main keyboard. Almost. But there's a deal breaker. For me personally, I could complain about the fact that some of the lighting, some of the lights that come up through the keycaps looks kind of weird, like it's a little hard to tell what some of the keys actually say at first. The LEDs are fine, it's mainly the keycaps, which again, you can just replace to get something better with some better shine through. The issue here for me is the cable. Now, for some of you, maybe most of you, this won't be an issue, but for me, because of the fact that I have to swap out keyboards so frequently for either doing videos on YouTube or for doing product videos for other companies, sometimes I have to swap out or take a keyboard out, so I really just kind of rely on having a keyboard now with a detachable cable so I can unplug it from the keyboard, put it aside, and plug another keyboard in. But this does not have a detachable cable. I know, and if you're like me, where you just gotta have a detachable cable for this keyboard, and I made this thing sound awesome up to now, then you're probably as disappointed as I was when I unboxed it. On the bright side though, even though the cable is not removable, there is at least routing options at the bottom of the keyboard, so you can have the cable go to one side or the other if that works better for your setup. I mean, it's not to say I'll never use it. I'm still gonna go back and use it. It's just not one that I can have as my main keyboard that I always have on my desk for regular use. I'll pull it out once in a while, because how could I not use this thing once in a while at least. It's just a shame. I think that removable cables, you know, detachable cables from keyboards should be sort of just a standard as much as possible. And it's probably a budget thing. It's probably that the body, the shell that they had to use for this thing just didn't have that built in. It wasn't. So to keep it at this price with these awesome switches and the great typing experience that you get, I understand. It's just disappointing again for me personally. But if this is not a deal breaker for you and this keyboard sounds awesome, it sounds like one that you want to check out, I should have a link or two in the description, so please feel free to check it out. One of them is probably going to be an Amazon affiliate link, so if you click that and buy it through that link, it really helps the channel out. Speaking of helping the channel out, one of the main reasons they originally reached out to me to check out this keyboard was to make a post on Instagram. So I'm going to post that the same day that I posted this video, so check it out and feel free to show that post some love, give it some likes. Follow me on Instagram while you're at it, Portly Gamer, the Portly Gamer. I'll post a link in the description to that as well. So thank you again to Hexgears for sending out this keyboard. I am so glad that I've got this chance to use these Kailh box switches, and I want to see if I can get another keyboard with them that might have a detachable cable someday, because I think they're my favorites so far. And that's even more so than the GK61 with the Gateron optical switches. So that's saying something.
But hey, maybe you don't like this keyboard and you want to find something a little bit different, but you might need some help shopping around and choosing the right keyboard for you. Whether you're looking for keyboards, mice, TVs, monitors, or just anything else in between, Lustre is here to help. From review sites to Reddit, it scours the internet to find what might be the best option to give you the most bang for your buck. Once you've got the extension downloaded, you'll see it get to work right away, especially on Amazon. All you've got to do is follow the link in the description to download it totally free. Different items will have different badges ranging from meh to excellent. Meh meaning you might want to look for something better, and excellent meaning this might be the thing for you. Full disclosure, if you decide to install Lustre using the link in the description, I do get a little bit of a kickback from Lustre, but it's totally free for you to use and install, and may just help you save some money by making better purchasing decisions.
That's gonna do it for me. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check out that post on Instagram. Again, links in the description below for the keyboard and Instagram and everything else, as well as a bunch of other links and information. Check it out. I gotta go. It's hot. Summer's beginning. I'm out of here.